This is probably gonna be a little bit of a rant video. Um, Adam Silver has been a reasonable commissioner. Now he gets very political in the liberal agenda. When it comes to the NBA, the passing the baton of David Stern to Adam Silver, we've seen some changes internally with rules and the conditions of the NBA in general. We've seen basically with Adam Silver that's been taken over as the commissioner for I believe around 6 to 7 years, somewhere in that range. We've seen the changes of the NBA draft. Basically, if you have the top three worst records in the NBA, you're expected to be pretty much top five to pretty much get the top five pick, somewhere in that range. But now, pretty much, if you're expected to go 11th or 12th, you can be like the New Orleans Pelicans, who somehow, some way get the number one pick and then get Zion Williamson out of nowhere. And a team like the New York Knicks, who've always been struggling at the bottom of the echelon, end up with the eighth pick, with the fourth pick, and go on from there. I did not like that move from Adam Silver, so I'm ranting a little bit on that. One of the other second changes was the team captains of the East versus West All-Star game. This happened 4 years ago or so when they instituted the team LeBron versus the team, Steph Curry. Then it went from LeBron to Giannis, then went from LeBron to team, Kevin Durant, somewhere in that range. I didn't care for that because I like the traditional East versus West matchup. Now, this resulted in a change for LeBron James because he pretty much would lose year after year as the East did not have that many All-Stars or good players out there, and the West was stacked with superstars. So that's why we've seen LeBron James pretty much, I believe, win the last four NBA All-Star games in a row. Nah, I don't care for that. I think it's a cool concept that you can draft players in all that range, but in reality, man, I like to keep it traditional, where the East versus West. And then we saw 2 years ago that they changed the Kobe Bryant rules, that there's no, there's no shot clock at the end of the fourth quarter. I don't like that. I don't care for that. I like a traditional game. It's too much all over the place upon that. But who knows? That's just my give or take of things. I'm a little more traditional when it comes to NBA. I think it's go a little more on the left in the liberal agenda, more free flowing and more out of there. But one of the main things that Adam Silver and they proposed, and the news hit today, that they fully expect this to be a unanimous decision going on forward in the future, is going to be the play-in tournament. This is a brand new concept that actually happened last season to an extent. So basically last season we saw the Grizzlies and the Portland Trailblazers fighting for that final 8th seed. The Portland Trailblazers did prevail and they squeaked in and they lost to the Lakers in the first round. But that was a cool scenario because you had the NBA bubble. And before COVID happened, you're around 60 games in the season. COVID happened, 5 months of rest, uncertainty, changing things to go to the bubble. And then they instituted 8 games to play in the last of the regular season. And of course, they had to do the play-in tournament, to make sense of the last of 15 games that were never played. So I liked how the NBA did it that season. But as for this season now, there's 72 games. And all of a sudden, they're including the play-in tournament, but extending it from the 7th and 8th seed, and then from the 9th and 10th. I do not like this move whatsoever. I do not. And especially the NBA is pretty much going to keep it permanent for the next, years and so on and so forth. My take of things, if you're a 7th and 8th seed, you're in. That should be just straight up like that. We've seen times where at the 8th and 9th seed, they've had the same record. But then you have to go a little more deeper in the stats. How many times did they play each other in the regular season? And who won the most out of those outings? And then you go a little further, a little more deeper and deeper. I liked how it was within those matchups. But now with the play-in tournament, I do not care for this. This is very forced on the NBA. I mean, we could see a talented team like potentially the Dallas Mavericks get bounced and not even make it into the playoffs if they're like a 7th seed because they lost 2 games in this play-in tournament, supposedly. Now, this is a huge advantage if you're a team like the Washington Wizards and Russell Westbrook and the crew, who've been struggling all season, who's been a 10 seed, far out of the reach for an 8 seed. And then all of a sudden, you tell Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal, if you guys just win back-to-back 2 games within a weekend, you can get into the playoffs. You're going to see a lot of veteran teams pretty much make upsets and get in, besides from the younger teams, because when it comes to the playoffs, if it comes to those 1 games, veteran teams usually will win. And that's the thing, we're going to see a lot of upsets out there, and unfairly though. So I don't like that. The NBA is going in this weird direction. It's too new, too crazy, and this is all pretty much helping out LeBron James. Now, for the play-in tournament, I would say no on that end. But besides from that, look at right now. So in the Eastern Conference, within the 7th through the 10th seed as of right now, you have the Miami Heat, you have the Charlotte Hornets, then you have the Pacers, and you have the Wizards. The Wizards are around 5.5 games from the 7th seed and around 3.5 games from the 8th seed. And Washington's sitting at a 27-34 record. So, the NBA wants ratings, they want money. I get it, but I don't like the way the NBA is going during this left and liberal agenda. They're leaving the traditional view of things, and it's getting chaotic. I can expect the NBA in a couple seasons or pretty quick to pretty much diminish the East versus West and go 1 through 16, like the NCAA format. Now, I do not like that at all whatsoever, but knowing the NBA, they're probably going to do what they got to do. But yeah, that's one thing. If you're the 7th and 8th seed, like the Heat and the Hornets, you should be in. Looking in the Western Conference, you have the Blazers, the Grizzlies, the Spurs, and the Warriors. Now, this is very helpful if you're the Golden State Warriors sitting at the 10th seed with a 31-30 record. But besides from that, if you're a team like the Memphis Grizzlies with an 8 seed, you should deserve to go into the playoffs. But now you're asking a team like the Grizzlies to go against the Blazers and the Warriors, 2 veteran teams, back-to-back games. I don't like that. I don't know. Just kind of free thoughts on me. Kind of seeing within the seasons where the NBA is heading. But hey, let me know what you guys think about all these changes and the direction, if you guys like it or not. But I'll give my take on that.